What's up, everybody? I am Mckenty. This is my second channel where I talk about business and marketing and personal development, all that kind of stuff. As you can tell, I'm not home. I'm at a hotel here in Anaheim. I've got a messy bed over here and then bunk beds for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not sharing this room with anybody, but they gave me bunk beds, so why not? I'll take them. The reason I'm traveling is because I am here at NAMM. NAMM is the big music industry convention kind of thing every year. It's kind of like a giant guitar center with, I think there's 95,000 people or something that come to this thing every year. And I'm here for my day job. My day job is I'm the director of operations for URM Academy, which we say is the world's best online education for rock and metal producers. So if you want to learn how to record or mix music, that's what we teach you how to do. A lot of people think that YouTube is my full-time job, and it's not. It could be. I could go full-time with YouTube for sure, but I like what I do here at URM. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, not as a commercial for our company or anything like that. So my job is Director of Operations. And what does that mean? That's one of those titles, if I heard that title when I was younger, I'd be like, what the fuck does Director of Operations mean? Operations basically just means you do all the stuff that it takes to make a company go. What I'm about to tell you here is the operations mindset, and this can be applied to anything that you're doing, whether that's a podcast or a band or a YouTube channel or anything. Learning to look at something from this operator mindset is the answer. This is how you grow something. Fundamentally, the way to think about it is that any company is a machine, and that machine's job is to produce money. And I know this sounds greedy. I don't mean it that way, let's get the fucking bread. I mean, that's literally what it is. And within that machine, there's a bunch of different parts. Marketing, production, customer support, whatever the different pieces are of the machine. Your job is to kind of look inside that machine, see how all the parts are working together, and figure out how you can optimize them to produce more money, just like you would tune a car. I mean, I don't know shit about cars, so it's actually stupid of me to make this analogy. I don't know, I'm gonna abort this analogy because I don't know anything about cars, but you get the idea. It's a machine, the goal is to generate money, and my job as the operator is to look at that machine and figure out how to make the parts work better together, make each of the individual parts operate better to produce more money. So fundamentally, my responsibility is what is called the top line, which is revenue, and the bottom line, which is profit. How do I actually do this? What does a typical day look like for me? What I do every morning, I wake up and I have a dashboard that reports various different metrics in the company, like how many subscribers we have, which currently is several thousand. Our main product is the thing called Nail the Mix. And the way that that works is that every month you get the actual multi-track sessions to a real song by a real band. This month we have Tom Lord Alge mixing The Adventure by Angels and Airwaves. So at the beginning of the month, you get the actual session files for that, the real files that they use to mix that song on the album. You download those, you learn from dropping into your software and mixing it from scratch. And then at the end of the month, the producer who mixed it does a live stream where they show how they did it on the album, and they take your questions live on air. So that's your chance to kind of compare how you did things to how they did things. So that's our main product. It's $20 a month. I wake up and I log into my dashboard and I see how many members we have in total, how many new members we have gotten so far this month, how many people have canceled, how many people's credit cards have been declined. There's a couple dozen different numbers that I look at every morning, and that kind of helps me decide where my attention needs to be focused. The various different parts of that machine for us are marketing, which primarily means Facebook and YouTube ads and Instagram ads. So for me, I might log in and go, well, we've gotten 400 new people this month, but I can see that our YouTube ads are underperforming relative to our Facebook ads. So maybe I want to put more money into Facebook and less money into YouTube, that sort of thing. Or I might say, wow, we've lost a lot of members this month due to credit card declines. What's going on there? Do we need to call our bank and see if there's some sort of a technical issue that's causing credit cards to be declined at a higher rate than usual? We have customer support team. Maybe one of the things I'll look at there is how many tickets are we getting per day, and what is the reply time on those tickets? Has it slowed down? If it is, then I would call John and I'd say, hey, I noticed that the reply time on tickets is a little bit higher than it has been in the past. What's going on there? And I also oversee all the technology, so that we have a contractor / friend of ours, Chris Smith. You might have seen him in my Facebook group under the name Christopher Lee. He does all the development on the site. So all the front end stuff like the user interface, and then a lot of the back end stuff he does as well, because he's a talented guy. He can do both. I don't really talk about this very much, but I used to write code for a living for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something like that, back in the 2000s, back when you could be a graphic designer and a web designer competently, which I don't think you really can do that anymore, but I used to do that back in the day, like with the LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. I'm not a good developer now by any means. I'm very rusty, and you wouldn't want me to write code now. It would be it would be ugly, and it would take me a long time. But my point is that I understand the development process well enough to be able to manage that. So I manage our product roadmap, which is to essentially figure out what features should we make and how do we prioritize those. So, there's 50 different features or whatever that we would like to make on the website. Can we build a feature on the website that does this or this or this? So we've got a big backlog of all those things, and it's my job to prioritize, to work with Chris to prioritize which ones we're going to make, and then actually see that through to a finished product that's live on the website. We have our graphic designer, the social content that you see, all the memes and video clips and all the stuff on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. He creates all that stuff, so I always kind of work with him on that to see what's working, what's not. We'll try, hey, what if we tried a bunch of memes that are about this thing for a week? Let's post a bunch of those and see what happens. And so then we do that, and then I get back with him and go, people didn't really like that. Let's try this instead. Or, wow, people like that. We should do more of that stuff. There's a lot more to it than that. I'm simplifying it a lot. I mean, I get real down and dirty into the weeds of for a while I was looking at every single credit card transaction we had, which is thousands a month. So I noticed that a very high percentage of our transactions are getting declined every month. And I was like, well, that's not right. It shouldn't be anywhere near that high. So I got on the phone with the banks and the payment processor. And if I didn't know how credit card payment works. It turned out there's 3 layers of companies involved with every transaction, and I kind of got to the bottom of that, figured it out, and now our number of declined transactions are 50% of what they used to be. The way I think of everything is a machine that is designed to produce a thing. There's inputs, there's a machine, and then there's outputs. That's the way I think about everything in life, and that's the big takeaway for this video. Whether you have a band, a podcast, a YouTube channel, or you sell fucking ice cream cones by the side of the road, this is what I want you to take away from the video. This mindset here, the operator mindset. There are inputs, there's a machine that does stuff with those inputs, and then there's outputs. You just think about, how do I adjust any piece of this system? Everything is a system. So for example, for a podcast, the desired output would probably be downloads, number of downloads. Everything you do is optimizing for the number of downloads. And what are the inputs to that? What is the machine there? Well, you've got guests on one of the inputs. What platforms you host it on is another one of the inputs. Your social media presence is one of the inputs. And then here is what you actually do with all those inputs. So the guest comes in, what do you do with the guest? What kind of questions do you ask? What's the production pipeline? Does it need to sound better? Do you need to do a better job of promoting it on social media? If so, what does that exactly look like? The answers to these things are generally not obvious. Or if the answers are obvious, it's not easy to execute on them. There's a reason why not many people do this stuff successfully, because it's fucking hard. But the point is, the thing I want you to take away from this is this operator mindset. Everything is a machine. There's inputs, there's a machine that does stuff with the inputs, and then there's the output. What you do, the outputs are a product of the decisions you make with the inputs and the machine that processes those inputs. I don't know if this makes sense. You tell me in the comments if this is too abstract or weird. I don't know. But this is how I look at the world. And I'm not saying this is the only way to look at the world. I'm saying this is how I look at it. And if you like the way that I do things, this is how I do it. So that's my day job. URM Academy, Nail the Mix. That's what I spend most of my time on. I really enjoy it. I love being able to have my hands on all those different pieces of the machine. That's just what makes me happy, is being able to fiddle with a machine like that. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if this was just a bunch of rambling bullshit, or if you found any of this interesting, or I don't know. Let me know what you think about this, because I've never really done a video about I've never really done a video like this before, but I would love to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time.